All right. Hello. Thank you for clicking on this video and watching. I'm going to be showing you how I make a lesson plan, what goes into it, and my planning process for a lesson plan. I'll start off by giving a little bit of advice when it comes to lesson plans. When I was learning how to do this, when I was in my teacher training, I had a mentor tell me that there are 3 lesson plans that you will make for every lesson. The one lesson is how you envision it happening in your mind. The second lesson plan is the one that you write down. And the third is the one that actually happens. So, what I'm showing you here today is just a piece of lesson planning. Usually, a lesson never goes according to exact plan. You have to accommodate hiccups along the way. You have to make changes. Every class is always different. So that's my advice with lesson planning. It's important to remember that it's okay if things don't go according to plan, but it is always good to have a plan written down on paper that you can refer back to. Just so you have something solid to work off of. So let's jump right into it. So I like to type my lesson plans in Google Docs. I love Google. I use Google for pretty much everything: email, word processing, multimedia presentations, spreadsheets. And Google has many different other apps that are great for education, but Google Docs is probably the most prevalent app that I use for Google. So obviously I start with a heading right here. So I teach 8th grade English language arts. And this lesson plan happened to be for an accelerated English class. So this was back in February. We were in Unit 3, which is called The Power of Art. And the lesson for today is going to be all about a double entry journal. So what a double entry journal is pretty much just having students interact with what they read. That means as they read, they're picking out quotes, lines, details, parts from a story that stick out to them, and then they are commenting on it, or they're analyzing it, or they're asking a question that allows them to dive deeper into like the meaning of the text, not just staying on the surface level, but really digging deep into a text to try to understand it on a different level. So that will be what we're doing today. I always start out with the unit essential question. I tell my students that this is our guiding light, for lack of a better word. This is the question that's in the back of our mind, that everything that we do in this unit relates back to this question. We're not necessarily trying to answer this question, but we are trying to explore it a little deeper, and gain a better understanding of this question. Next would be the lesson questions. These are the specific questions that we'll be addressing today. So, what can a text reveal about a character, and how can reflecting on a text give us a better understanding of it? So, after lesson questions comes the objectives. These are the things that I want my students to be able to do. Students will be able to choose meaningful lines from the story to expand upon, better understand, or question. In addition, students will be able to navigate through Google Classroom to complete assignments. Also, students will correctly answer analysis questions with a partner or a small group. Um, Google Classroom is something huge that I've used a lot lately. It's an online classroom. It allows teachers to create a class where students join with an access code. Teachers can post assignments, they can post announcements, and this Google Classroom allows teachers to set due dates and assign grades. You can give comments. It really is great. It really does facilitate this 21st century learning that we're trying to cultivate. So if you're not using Google Classroom, I highly recommend that. You do have to have access through your school district to use it, and not just anybody can use it. You have to have, it has to be through your district, pretty much. Okay, next would be the rationale. This is why we're doing this. So here's what I wrote. This lesson will allow students to interact with the text and possibly gain a personal connection and deeper understanding of the text by using a double entry journal. Students will also use Google Classroom as a platform to discuss meaningful quotes along with their thinking and reactions to the text with other students. Students will also answer deep literary analysis questions to further understand the text. So this explains why we are doing this lesson, what the purpose is, what I hope they learn from this lesson. Below, we have the standards. I'm not going to read all of these. You could pause the video and read if you'd like. But this is just, you have to cite why you're doing this in accordance to state standards to hopefully get these students ready for those big assessments they have. Moving down, we have the materials. Obviously, these are the things that you'll be using. My school district uses the program called Codex. So students will be using their textbook to read the story for this double entry journal assignment. They will have the double entry journal, which is posted in Google Classroom. It's just a Google Doc that I've set up. It has like tables on it. I can post a link down below to this double entry journal, and you can use that for your resource. Also, I had students completing the double entry journal on an iPad, and then I gave them some literary analysis questions that they could answer afterwards. So these are my instructional activities. This was how I planned class was going to go. So obviously, first you want to greet the class. I like to do this. Ask them how it's going, how their day's going. If I'm lucky, they'll ask me how my day's going, and I always try to be positive for them and just kind of be the light. And maybe they're having a bad day, try to be positive, lead by example. So I do that. I take attendance. Next, students will resume reading Zebra, that was the name of the story, with their partner while simultaneously filling out the double entry journal. Next, students will get their assigned iPad, enter Google Classroom, and share one entry from their double entry journal. So that means they would take what they have created, or not created, what they have entered into their double entry journal. So a quote or a line that they found from the story, along with their reaction to it, which could be a thought that they have, a question that they have, a connection to something in their life, to another text, to the world, whatever. And they will enter this onto the stream. Then students will answer the analysis questions from Zebra with their partner. Then students will join to make groups of 4 and discuss the answers to their questions together. I really love collaboration. I think that that's probably one of the best ways that students learn. Obviously, when they're around their peers, they are more inclined to maybe chat a little bit more than normal or maybe get off task, but that's where the teacher comes in. You really have to set the bar and tell them what the expectation is when they're working in groups or the partner. Number 6, next students will turn in these questions to be graded for accuracy and reflection on which skills need more practice. And then lastly, students will complete an exit ticket using interactive sticky notes. So that is how I want class to go. Those are the steps that we'll be taking. Next, we have the assessments. How will I be assessing student understanding and learning today? So the first way, students will post one entry from their double entry journal in Google Classroom to contribute to a discussion that we'll have tomorrow about the story. Number 2, students will correctly answer the analysis questions from Zebra. And then thirdly, they will correctly complete the exit ticket, which is an interactive sticky note. That's the website. Pretty much the students answer the question, they type their answer, and then on my screen, I project everyone's interactive sticky note pretty much. And it makes the students accountable, which I like. So that's a really good resource. And then the last part of my lesson plan is just like any notes or troubleshooting that I might predict or encounter. Um, I usually don't fill in this part until after. And if it's something that kind of I wasn't expecting, I'll write it down. But for this lesson, I didn't really have anything to write. So that's my lesson plan. Like I said, things change all the time. And um, you know, things change, and that's part of being a teacher, is being able to adapt to those changes and make the best of it. So I hope that was helpful. Feel free to use any of this to help you. And thanks for watching. And if you like this video, hit the like button, or please subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be trying to put out more videos regularly. I really like sharing in this capacity. And I think that it's a great way to collaborate and interact with like-minded people. So again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.